Hey, fellow parents. Have you ever thought that some parenting experts are giving advice from a parallel universe? I mean, have they ever actually raised a few kids, or did they learn about parenting the way your beer chugging, buffalo wing gobbling uncle learned to play pro quarterback? Look, I've raised three kids, also taught fifth grade, and coached sports from youth level up to high school varsity. So let me tell you something you already know. Lots of expert advice is much easier to put into a blog post than it is to put into practice, especially when you're already exhausted from working, paying bills, maintaining a home, and trying to carve out one sacred hour of peace and quiet before collapsing and doing it all over again tomorrow. So, here are my five top examples of parenting advice that sound great on paper but are a wee bit more challenging in real life. Number one, listening with empathy to an arrogant, entitled teenager. You know the advice. Hear them out, validate their feelings. Sure, great, love it. Except your teenager is lecturing you on life and success based on information they got from an influencer whose greatest accomplishment is conning people into paying $48 for a water bottle. All the while, you're trying to empathize, and your brain is saying, I've lived through recessions, mortgages, the DMV, you've lived through eighth grade. Okay, number two, staying calm with a screaming infant. He slept in the car on the way to the restaurant. You laid him ever so gingerly into the high chair that the waitress brought, and just when you're about to take a sip of your cocktail, he wakes up and launches one of those crying fits that starts with a whimper and ends with a. Well, that's the point. It doesn't end. No matter who plucks him from the high chair, or how much you walk the floor with him, or how many comforting words you whisper in his tiny ears. Okay, number three, letting an infant cry it out at 2 a.m. Experts say if they're fed, changed, and loved, let them cry. They'll fall asleep eventually. Science says their crying triggers your stress response. And your brain says, I'm dying over here. It's 2 a.m. and you're down to your last diaper and your last nerve. You're trying to follow the advice of an expert with more degrees than children, and your body is telling you to pick up that baby right now. This is the moment every parent realizes that no expert is there to help you. You're on your own. Number four, holding your kid accountable if a teacher or coach is unfair. Experts say teach resilience. Don't let them quit. But commitment should not feel like a prison sentence. Sometimes coaches do play favorites. Sometimes teachers do get burned out and take it out on the class. When it comes to sport, my advice is this. If your child doesn't want to be there, let him quit. Free him up to explore other activities, other things he might like. And give the roster spot to somebody who really wants to be there. Interests change, bodies change, athletic skills sometimes improve. If a meeting with a teacher or a coach is really necessary, it should be your kid, not you, that does the talking. You're raising a person, not a client. All right, last one. Avoiding cliches like, because I said so, or stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. Here's the thing about these sayings. Don't worry about avoiding them altogether like the experts suggest. Just don't rely on them exclusively. If your kid starts saying, you always say that, you know you've crossed the line. So, what would you add to this list? Drop your easier said than done parenting tips in the comment section. A lot of other parents would love to hear them. Till next time.